Hello everyone, it's me, your boy Derek, or Matthew, or whatever else you want to call me, and today I'm going to be doing a sort of different video from what I normally do, one that leans more on the educational side, if you get what I mean. So Meet the Plastics from Mean Girls the Musical is an excellent example on how to introduce your characters and also establish their relationships. In a matter of 4 minutes and 18 seconds, the audience gets a perfectly clear sense of who the three plastics are and how they drive the plot of the show. Through the use of different musical genres to highlight the different personalities of each character, and through the use of clever lyrics, we are able to get a fully fleshed out understanding of who they are. Even if the music does rely on stereotypical character types in order to expedite the storytelling process, it still functions very well at doing its job. We are given the basis of these three main characters, and it is up to the rest of the musical to expand on them. Damien and Janis begin the number with a warning not to be associated with the plastic. They introduce the reasoning behind their nickname, describing them as shiny, fake, and hard, clearly making a comparison to Barbie dolls. Throughout their opening lines, they establish the power the plastics have over the student body, even if it is not directly enforced. Their reputation is furthered with Damien's line at the very beginning where he shouts, "Don't look at them, just don't." Damien and Janis are not at that exact time getting threatened by the plastics at all, yet given their previous history, they're able to strike fear into the entire student body. To further the analogy of comparing Regina George to a queen bee, Janis outright makes this comparison right at the end of their segment. It is especially striking when she says the line, "We're just drones who work for her, then die." Regina is a name that is used to describe a queen figure or some sort of royalty figure, and that description perfectly matches her character. The style of this verse is slow, but extremely menacing and full of character. Similar to how lions and tigers must move slowly and carefully in order to catch their prey, Regina's verse is also musically in a slow and careful manner. This style only emphasizes her role as the apex predator that cannot be beat. There are other musical theater songs that also imitate similar practices to this. For example, You'll Be Back from Hamilton, sung by King George III, also begins in a slow, careful, and extremely precise way. This styling inspires the idea that these powerful figures are intimidating and strike fear in all who come across them. The music is also able to describe her as a character with good looks. The slowish tempo could also be taken as a sort of lullaby in order to enchant all those who hear it, displaying how beauty is what helped her rise to the top of the food chain. Similar to the song Come Little Children, sung by Sarah Sanderson from Hocus Pocus, these lullaby numbers are meant to be calming yet extremely menacing at the same time. They're meant to be gentle at first, but from what we know about the characters and their delivery, we know that those are not accurate intentions. They are meant to be deceiving yet beautiful, which helps them get what they want. As for the lyrics themselves, they are very self-explanatory and kind of tell, not show. She uses a lot of metaphors and similes in order to illustrate her role as the most powerful figure in the school, and she clarifies that in her world, she does not really care about anyone else, but everyone else should care about her. The genre of Gretchen's verse is kind of like a tango, sharp but extremely purposeful. This style perfectly represents Gretchen's peppy yet hectic personality that is desperate to fit in and be exactly what Regina needs. The uptempo music also demonstrates Gretchen's inability to catch up. The goalpost for approval keeps constantly moving, and she keeps trying to meet it, even if it makes her uncomfortable or feel rushed. Her feelings don't matter, only Regina does. It is worth mentioning that out of the three plastics, Gretchen is the only one who doesn't start her verse with saying her name. She first says Regina's name, which emphasizes her role as just Regina's servant. Within the lyrics, Gretchen tries to display this sense of false happiness in order to compensate for the toxic relationship she has with Regina. The last few lines are incredibly striking when she acknowledges her place as a servant by describing herself as the queen of worker bees. She's grateful she isn't at the bottom, but Regina is clearly limiting her from reaching her full potential as an individual person who deserves to treat herself. Karen's character relies on the stereotypical dumb blonde archetype. Her lyrics are simple and plain, and they don't leave much room for imagination. Her sentences almost remind me of a kindergartner. Almost every line in her verse follows the same pattern of my noun is adjective, almost like a game of Mad Libs. She knows she's not the brightest, but she's trying, and we appreciate her for that. Karen's verse is slow, kind of like Regina's, but not like hers because it lacks that menacing factor and mainly plays up into Karen's innocence. Of course, she's not innocent in the purity or ethical sense. She's more innocent in the wisdom sense. The music is almost childish. Sometimes it feels like that one girl who just learned how to play the piano and she just constantly plays the same 4 notes of the same song that she knows how to play. It also has some sort of Disney elements to it, with the musical flutters and simple tones, relating itself to Cinderella, Snow White, and other classic fairy tales. The verse could also be compared to the song I'm Not That Smart from 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. Both numbers show the character types of being loony and full of childlike innocence in terms of wisdom, both full of imagination and lightheartedness. When the Plastics start talking to Cady, they almost completely disregard anything she has to say. They don't really listen to her at all, as they are inviting her to join their group. They just move with the automatic assumption that anyone would want to join them because they are them. Now this section is what I call the Lin-Manuel Miranda. What I mean by this is that each section is singing their own part and they're all overlapping with each other and singing simultaneously. I call this a Lin-Manuel Miranda because it is similar to some of his other more popular songs such as 96,000 from In the Heights and Non-Stop from Hamilton. I am assuming the function of this part is to remind the audience of who each character is individually while also demonstrating how each complements one another. It all culminates in the end when they all come together at the finale to sing the final part of the song. They are this one almost robotic unit that works together to cause misery and demise into all they come into contact with. They're powerful figures in the school and they know it. So today's October 3rd, hopefully I do actually get this video up in time. But if today is actually October 3rd, then today is Mean Girls Day, because it's based off of the iconic line from the movie. Well, of course, all of you should already know that if you're watching this video. But I wanted to get this video out for Mean Girls Day because it is one of my most favorite movies ever, and the musical is also pretty great in my opinion. It's one of the only shows that I've actually seen on Broadway, and with the original cast as well, so I'm very happy about that. Meet the Plastics is genuinely such a great musical number that does an excellent job at introducing characters and establishing their relationships. Regina, Gretchen, and Karen are such a cinematic trio that can't be matched, not even by the Heathers in my opinion.